We have crossed the halfway point in this class, and it's time to look at some of the ways strategic strategies are implemented. In this short video, we will define long and short-term goals, look at the differences between mergers, acquisitions, and alliances, and finish with the four major strategies used in international trade. During the first week of this course, we discussed the setting of goals as part of the initial steps in setting up a company or in altering existing strategic strategies. Here are some rules of thumb when setting corporate goals. The long-term goals should be accomplished between 3 and 20 years, although the actual length of time is dependent on the industry. In those industries that have short lead times and products have a short turnaround, goals in the 3 to 5 year range are used. For those industries with long lead times, such as aerospace, the time can be as long as 20 years. Long-term goals must be realistic and achievable. For a startup to have a long-term goal of being the world leader in 3 years would not be realistic unless the product or service establishes a new industry with no competitors. Setting that goal for 10 years might be a more realistic and achievable goal. The goals must be measurable. This is accomplished by including specific statements in the goal. For example, the goal of being one of the world leaders sounds good, but how do you know when that goal is reached? What does it take to be a world leader? A better goal would be to capture 40% of the global market within 10 years. This is a specific goal that can be measured and success recognized. The short-term goals are up to 1 year and must support the long-term goals. Unlike the long-term goals, short-term goals are reviewed and adjusted on a regular basis with the ultimate focus being on meeting the long-term goals. When all of the long-term goals are met, the long-term goals will also be met. Reaching long-term goals is a process that cannot be accomplished by setting a goal and then after a few years suddenly meeting it. Like so many other things in life, the process can be very slow and requires a great deal of patience. If a person who decides to get in better physical shape goes to a gym, sets the treadmill on the highest speed, and jumps on, the result will usually be less than a success. That high level of activity can only be reached by starting at a lower speed and gradually increasing as the body is built up. Successfully growing a business requires a similar process. There are many ways to grow a business, and selecting the right method can mean success. But selecting the wrong method can also lead to a disastrous outcome. For those companies with unlimited resources and time, growth can be achieved through in-house training and establishing departments to meet the requirements of both the long and short-term goals. This usually requires the least amount of capital expenditures and allows companies to expand while staying within their established cultures. For other companies, growing can best be accomplished by joining other companies that have the needed disciplines and expertise to meet the needs. There are 3 methods used to accomplish this: mergers, acquisitions, and alliances. Mergers and acquisitions are similar, are utilized to meet a company's long-term strategies and goals, as well as to alter the internal environment of the company. The benefit of these strategies often include an overall increase in performance while the cost of products and services decreased. The competitive position or market share increases, especially when a competitor is acquired. Acquiring a business that is in the supply chain or can replace a company in the supply chain eliminates an entire tier of costs. When market share is increased, future competition can be eliminated or at least discouraged. Technologies can be added without the time and costs needed to establish new organizations and recruit the needed personnel. Also, geographical diversification can be achieved without the rigors of trying to enter new global markets from scratch. Mergers occur when two or more companies agree to permanently give up their separate identities and combine their resources to form a new company. Our case study in this course is a prime example, since the C.J. Best Tractor Company and Holt Manufacturing combined their resources to form the Caterpillar Tractor Company in 1925. Acquisitions are the acts of one company taking over another company by purchasing all or part of that company's assets. This occurred in 2011 when Caterpillar acquired all the assets of Boosie Russ International to become the global leader in mining equipment. Alliances are formed when one or more companies agree to work together on a specific product, service, or goal. Alliances are temporary, and the identities and assets remain with the individual companies. The members of an alliance may share equally in the benefits, or they may be divided according to the contributions made by each company. An example might be the B-2 bomber, which was the result of an alliance between the Boeing Company, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop Grumman. When an acquisition occurs and the product or services of the acquired company are currently or will be used in the supply chain, it is a vertical integration. Where the integration takes place along the supply chain determines if it is a backward or forward integration. If the integration occurs before the company, such as raw materials, it involves input and so is a backward integration. If the integration occurs after the company, such as product distribution, it is a forward integration. When a company acquires another company that is in the same industry and operates at the same level, it is a horizontal integration. Caterpillar's acquisition of Boosie Russ was a horizontal integration, since they were both in the same industry, were at the same level, and the acquired assets were not used in Caterpillar's supply chain. Now, let's take a look at global strategies. While these strategies are developed and managed at the corporate level, they only address a part of corporate strategies. Global strategies are unique and define the general purpose and framework of how a company will conduct and manage its international business. There are 4 global strategies discussed in Chapter 10 of the text: global standardization, multi-domestic, transnational, and international. The main drivers in deciding which of these strategies to use are cost reduction and local customization. If the major driver is to deliver products and services to the global market at the lowest possible cost, this would be accomplished by strategies that allow products to be mass-produced in central factories to reduce the cost per unit. These strategies are said to take advantage of economies of scale. If, on the other hand, the main driver is to deliver products that meet the individual needs of global consumers, then strategies are used that allow products to be customized to meet the local requirements. Which of the 4 global strategies to use can be determined by using this global strategy matrix. If the need for lower cost is low and the need for local customization is also low, the best global strategy to use is international. If lower costs is high but the need for customization is low, global standardization would be the best choice. If lower costs are low but the need for customization is high, multi-domestic is the best strategy. Finally, if both lower costs and the need for customization are high, transnational is the one to use. When companies make the decision to move into the international marketplace, they often utilize the international strategy, which is basically the same strategy they use for their domestic operations. All of the decisions, and usually the manufacturing, are centralized in domestic facilities, and the products exported to targeted international markets. This strategy is the easiest to implement and requires the least amount of corporate change. The downside of the international strategy is that it is almost non-responsive to local needs and provides one-shoe-fits-all products. The global standardization strategy is similar to the international, except that products are developed and standardized to fit national markets. In this strategy, a standardized product is developed to meet a national or regional need and marketed to that country or region. The company organization is comprised of business units that control the various products, and while they are assumed to be interdependent, they also have some freedom to act independently. This strategy emphasizes a low per unit cost by taking advantage of economies of scale, but lacks responsiveness to the needs of local markets. Because resources are spread across multiple countries, managing and coordinating across borders can be very difficult. When companies are focused on meeting the local needs of the global community, the multi-domestic strategy is often used. The main feature of this strategy is the decentralized decision-making by business units located in each country. This approach allows products and services to be tailored to meet the needs of the local markets, as well as the creation of defensive strategies to deal with the competition in each local market. The independence of the business units allows for the highest level of differentiation within each market. The last strategy we will look at in this presentation is transnational. This strategy is used by companies that wish to attain the lowest possible cost per unit while striving to meet the needs of the local market. While the central decision-making is carried out at the home office, subsidiaries are employed at the local level to provide product customization to meet local requirements and needs. This customization is achieved through the assembling of essential parts that are mass-produced in centralized factories, with those that are specific to the local market. This approach allows for both economies of scale and a responsiveness to local needs to be achieved. This strategy is very difficult to implement and requires strong centralized control to achieve the efficiencies while allowing decentralization to achieve local market responsiveness. The balance between the two can be very meticulous and difficult to maintain. One subtle advantage of a transnational strategy is the organizational learning that can be achieved when local requirements are disseminated throughout a company. These will often spawn new ideas that lead to innovation and technological advancements.